and welcome to another Indie Film Cafe Spotlight in a new season. This is season 2, and we have decided to start off with a bang. We've got an awesome guest here, but first let me introduce my co-host, Paul Presenza. How you doing, Paul?
Hey, everyone's doing fantastic. How's it going, everybody? I'm your old pal, the Moo Cow, otherwise known as Paulie Presenza, and I am so excited to be here tonight.
And we've got a great guest here. We've got Joe Estevez here. How are you doing, Joe?
I am doing fine, and it is nice to meet you two gentlemen. Thank you for inviting me on board.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for coming. We've been longtime fans, both of us. I'll just tell you, the first movie I ever saw you in was a movie called Zombiegeddon, and it was when I was first getting into B-movie horror and stuff, and I absolutely loved you in that movie. And I became obsessed with that movie, period. But I just loved you in it and thought it was fantastic. So thank you so much.
Well,
I'm sure Paul has a different movie that he grew up watching you on.
I've seen so many. I'm trying to remember what the first one was. It was probably Werewolf back in the mid '80s.
Oh goodness, yeah. I heard someplace in the grapevine that you fellas are great Don Jackson's fans. Is there any truth?
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of the things we wanted to talk to you about is, and it's just, to me, it's almost miraculous. There's this wonderful combination of you, Donald G. Jackson, and Conrad Brooks in at least three movies. And to me, I can't imagine a greater triumvirate of B-movie talent that have just been so wonderful and entertained so many people through the years. How did this happen?
Oh my goodness. All we need was the fourth amigo, Bobby Zadar, and it could have had it exploded, But, my wife loves Don Jackson. We love him, first of all, as a human being, and secondly, as a filmmaker. But he had, much like Orson Welles had the Mercury Theater and his actors, Don Jackson had his actors that he would go to, and Conrad, through Don, became a lifelong friend of mine. Conrad passed a couple of years ago.
Sadly.
And Bobby Zadar. It was Don Stroud. A lot of folks that passed through Don's camp, and if I could digress a minute, but Don Jackson, that was an era where it was just fun. Don, right. We would meet up in the morning, have some coffee, have some breakfast, and go out and just shoot this crazy stuff. And Don, the master of light, he'd think for an hour or so, and then we'd go out and shoot, and it was just, there were no limits, and there was no. Of course, Don didn't believe in scripts, We don't need no stinking scripts.
Outstanding.
But we just went out and shoot. It was such a, I guess it was such a freedom. It was just such a freedom of not so much self-expression, but self-expression inside the character that Don had created for us. But he was a good guy. John and we had similar backgrounds in that he came up as a factory worker in Detroit, and I came up as a factory worker in Dayton, Ohio. So, we kind of had that assembly line mentality, that kind of, carrying your lunch to work mentality,
A blue collar ethos. That's definitely what I picked up from both of you.
Yeah, and it worked well, and I think there was mutual respect, and I got to say goodbye to Don. I went up and visited him a couple of times, and I think a couple of days before he passed. We had some time together, and I know he had some spiritual guidance coming in to talk to him, and so he passed well. He passed in peace, which was great. But anyway, I miss him. I still miss him to this day.
Oh yeah.
We really so our show, Indie Film Cafe, is also a podcast as well. We do video casts, but we also do podcasts. And in the show, we have reviewed Roller Gator, and we've reviewed Baby Ghost already.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and on top of that, we're planning on someday doing the
Little
trifecta.
Lost Sea Serpent should be this coming season.
Yes.
Oh goodness. Okay.
But
Because we just watched it for the first time, both of us,
And
this year.
I specifically wanted to do those 3 films because of all the movies that I've seen with you 3 in them. These are just amazing individual films. And I know that Donald G. Jackson didn't particularly like the way they turned out. We tried to talk with Scott Shaw about him. He wasn't particularly enthused about talking about them. But I have got to say, those movies are so much fun. Everybody I show them to loves them. They may not have been necessarily successful for the reasons they were originally made. However, they are so much fun and so entertaining that I personally hate to think that they are just going to fade off into obscurity. And I try to show everybody I can those 3 films.
Yeah. And thank you for that. And thank you for just realizing the fun that they are. They're just fun. They're fun to watch. The characters are outrageously marvelous. I don't know. Did you see the Don Jackson film where we're at the fair, where I play the manager of the fair?
Roller Gator.
That's Roller Gator.
Roller Gator. Yeah. I mean, that film, and I'm sorry, I'm just bouncing all over the place, fellas, but
it's okay.
That film, we had a cameraman, Don and myself, paid our way into the state fair, into the county fair. And it was like, I just presented myself as the fair's manager. And, we got everything for free, food for free, everything, it's shooting all this marvelous footage there in the fair. It was crazy. But it was just kind of like, nobody does this, pays money to get in the fair and does a film. Donald G. Jackson does. Yeah.
That's great. I do want to bring up one little point. I was able to track down and talk to Larry Maddox, who was playing your assistant in that film. He was the hot dog guy. And he had a lot of good memories. And one thing he said to me, he says, he probably won't remember me, but Joe Estevez was an absolute joy to work with. So I wanted to pass that along to you.
God, thank Larry for me. That's sweet. I mean, I'm humble. I'm humble. And what surprises me, gentlemen, is that making film is so much fun, and what an incredible way to make a living, and that how could anybody not enjoy it?
Right.
I never understood people that showed up on the set grumpy in a bad mood and said, come on, man, this is your dream, Go ahead. I'm sorry, Jonathan.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I acted in a movie yesterday, actually, of all things, and I was in I think it's gonna be a Lifetime Christmas movie or something as a bartender, and yeah, I mean, sure, I'm just a small bartender. I was there for like 8 hours, basically, and I was there just chatting with everybody, having a good time, and there were people that seemed grumpy or not happy, and I'm like, I don't get it, because, like, I mean, why would you be, like, your job, it's fun, it's enjoyable to me.
Yeah, it beats the heck out of an assembly line, I'll tell you that. Yeah.
And Joe, you've been in close to 300 films. And at least, gosh, there was a bunch with Donald G. Jackson. See, there was Rollerblade 7, Roller Gator, Baby Ghost, The Legend of the Rollerblade 7, Return of the Rollerblade 7, Little Lost Sea Serpent, The Toad Warrior, Guns of El Chupacabra, etc., Max Hell Frog Warrior. And, at least that's got to be at least 10 or a dozen.
I probably did half a dozen films with Don. But then they would take what I shot in one film and put it in another film.
I see.
Yeah, okay, all right. There's my, I gotta say goodbye to my wife. Bye-bye, baby, I'll see you in a bit. There's Donald G. Jackson's biggest fan, my wife, Constance.
Yay.
Oh.
Hi guys. Hi.
Can you hear? Yeah.
Yeah.
Please tell her we
Hi.
said hello.
Face here. Oh, she says no.
No, I
Okay.
got my mask and everything on.
All right, baby doll. I love
Aw.
you. All right.
Okay.
But yeah, my lovely wife heading out on this Sunday night. You're in San Gabriel, Jonathan.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah. I used to live in San Gabriel way back in the day. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's a really beautiful city. I like it.
Yeah. I lived on San Gabriel Boulevard in Huntington Drive, right there, many years ago.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
That's,
But I Lost Little Sea Serpent.
Oh.
When you fellas watch that, I don't know if you know that, but in the titles, my daughter Amanda Estevez is the little girl in that movie.
Yes, absolutely. Noticed that.
yeah.
And I think that was her only title that I could find on Internet
Yeah.
Movie Database.
Yeah, she's she directs children's commercials, and
wow.
really, she knows things about films that I that it's changed so much, but I mean, she's absolutely terrific, and I hope that she's able to work her way into mainstream films and such. But what she does now and being able to work with children in commercials, it's really impressive to me anyway. Yeah.
That is really impressive. It
Clearly,
doesn't.
you are part of an extremely talented family that, I mean, you don't even have to go into everybody who's part of that, but there's definitely something in the blood because you guys are just amazing.
Well, and God bless you. Thank you for that. For a while, when I was very new in Hollywood, for a brief period of time, I changed my last name to Phelan. And I did that in honor of my uncle, Michael Phelan, who was one of the charter members of the Abbey Theatre in Dublin. And he was kind of, I think a lot of my brother and myself, our inspiration to become actors. So I always like to do a shout out for him because, he was back in that day. I mean, he was a stage actor. He was also a revolutionary in the Irish uprising. And I thought, I would give that tribute to him from, our lineage. But then somebody took me behind the proverbial barn door and said, "That's not your name, man. Your name's Estevez, So work with who you are." So I changed it back to Estevez. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Nice.
that's understandable too. I mean, when I see your performances, I mean, you're just Joe Estevez, like you're so good at being like, who you are, like as an actor. And so I always love every role that you do.
Wow. Thank you so much. I
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
And it's clear that you're able, even in the 3 Donald G. Jackson films that you're in, that we're doing, the Kitty Trio, as I like to call them, you're playing very different characters in all 3 of them. It's not the same at all. And I was just wondering how your approach was to those, how different in those 3 films.
It's funny. I had a gal once ask me, she said, "I'm really interested what you're going to do with this part." And I said, "You know what? I am too." Because I have absolutely no plan. I study. I mean, I don't study, and I think this is true with most actors. When they first read the script, 90% of that character is right there. At least it comes upon me as I'm reading it, and you define it a little bit more as you get deeper into it. But every character that I read has a different personality, and I just give myself over to it. I don't really, it's not something that I work at. It's more something that I submit myself to. And I don't know. I mean, I think, as I try to, that and now I'm getting cast as a crotchety old man or the kind of grandfather or something. And it's often that actors, when they get into the middle of their careers and they become established and such, they just repeat what they've done for the last 10, 15, 20 years. And, it works for them and the director can count on them. And, but I try to give every character I play its individuality. And, and there's habits that I'll fall into, like oftentimes I'll use a a laugh to take me from one mood to another. And I'm working on not to use that as a crutch. I see actors, very very famous actors, and they all have crutches. They all have things that they go back to and such. And I think just to develop, to grow as an actor, you gotta, look at Bob Dylan. I mean, he was incredibly successful, and he changed his whole singing style, and went with something totally different. I think that takes an incredible amount of guts to do that, So I in my own little way, I try to give every part that I do its own signature. I heard Tom Hanks say once, that he's a blank slate, and I like to think of myself also as a blank slate, and whatever the character is, it imposes itself upon me.
Okay, so you're kind of like a template that the character is able to slide into, and then you interpret it in your way and become that character.
Yeah, but I never take it home with me. I always know that I'm acting. I'm an actor. I never, if I'm playing the part of the killer, like, oh, don't get around him. He's a madman. No,
Right.
Once it's my wife is back.
I'm back.
Yeah. Once they say cut, then I'm cut out of it. Did you want to get on here for a second?
Just to
This is
say
my
hi.
lovely wife. Come on in here. This is my
Hi.
wife.
Hi, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. And she is a marvelous actor in her own right, but she's kind of just stepped aside. But she's worked
Yay.
quite a bit. But
Nice to meet you.
she's busy now, doing writing and doing what she does. So but
Got two for the price of one.
say again.
We got two for the price of one.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
IMDb, yeah. Every once in a while, I get her out of retirement and I talk her into doing a little something with me,
It's
Yeah.
fun.
Good.
Well, I have to go. It's so nice meeting you.
Okay,
So I-
goodbye, Ed.
Yay.
You too.
Thank you very much.
Be careful out there, okay, baby
Okay.
doll? Okay, yeah. This is I know you can't see it, but behind me is Joe from Dayton. Oh, what's it? That marvelous movie that's escaping my Joe from Dayton. What's the movie, Connie?
With Gloria Swanson.
With Gloria Swanson.
Sunset Boulevard.
Thank
Yes,
you,
thank
yeah.
you.
Okay.
The building that he lived in, or that his character lived in, is one block over here.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
I mean, Earl Flynn's house is a block up the street. This building that it's under renovation right now. That it was built. It's called the Castle Argyle, and oops, I shouldn't have said that. Well, anyway, that's all right. But it's right in old Hollywood's district where we live, and I love it. I walk every day, and it's just like walking through history,
That's awesome.
But anyway, you didn't ask, but I thought I'd tell you that anyway.
One thing I did want to ask about is that in addition to being a wonderful actor, you actually were also a director, and you directed a movie called Horrorween with a really amazing cast that included such people as George Clinton, William Shatner, Jenna Jameson, Tom Savini, and Donald Trump. How the heck did that happen?
You know, the only movie that I've directed from start to finish is a movie called Of God and Kings. With Horrorween, we shot and I guess the long story short, but we did get George Clinton. But it just got to a place where let's just say our producer ran out of money. And so when you run out of money, you can't pay people, and it shuts it down. It was great fun because it kind of you know, because there's visions that an actor has that you know, when I'm directing. So anyway, that movie, it's still out there someplace. Could we possibly finish it sometime? Yeah, sure. Is there? Yeah, and I understand Trump's unemployed now, so you know, if I would want to know. But anyway, that's another story. But it's a movie that like a lot of films, they run out of money. I mean, they just run out of money. But you know, it's kind of you get people, and I do it, you know, and I come up to the director. I say, you know, I got this idea. I'd like to do that. You know, director, hey, Joe, great. You know, do that when you direct your next movie. Okay, this is my movie. You know, so I think I found out in directing that there's no right way, there's no wrong way, there's your way, and you got to stay to your vision. Not that you can't take suggestions or such, but I think I didn't realize until I directed that directing is a very personal thing. So and directing is so technical now. It is so consuming that frankly, I especially at my age, I can't possibly learn. Maybe I could if there's a gun to my head, but I don't want to learn all that stuff. And I don't want to work 20 hours a day putting together a film. And if that makes me lazy, okay, all right. But I love acting. I love just being responsible for my part, doing my part. And, you know, if I wrap early and the director's there for another 6 hours, see you tomorrow, you know? So I you know, that's my feeling. But, you know, like my daughter, she is so incredibly knowledgeable in how she could pull these things together with Horrorween, Of God and Kings, and some other shorts that, you know, I direct. I hired the best DP and cameraman that I knew, and I relied on them, and I worked with the performances of the actor. I've directed a lot of stage, you know, so I think I'm very good directing with other actors, but the whole technical aspect of film, I'm very ignorant.
Well, you know, and this goes to a thing where I heard there's a filmmaker I really like, Kevin Smith, who he has been kind of like I guess he had something about the fact that the he doesn't know like the lenses, you know,
Yeah,
like the lens names and stuff and things like that. And I literally don't think you need to. Like that should be the camera person's job. You know, you should rely on the camera person. And as a director, you should all you should know is where you want things to go, and then you talk to the camera person, and then they, you know, kind of work with it and everything.
Right. Your DP should be able to help you set up all the technical aspects of your production.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But there's an effect that you're trying to create, like, you know, Orson Welles would try to create an effect. It's oftentimes nothing he could explain, but that he would have to tell the cameraman, this is what I want, and this is how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that is a filmmaker extraordinary. That's what makes, I think, a great filmmaker. And I admire these guys. You know, I grew up as a stage actor. And I didn't come to film till late, until I was 27. So, you know, I love acting on film, and I don't want to sound sacrilegious here, but I prefer the effect of stage, the immediacy, I guess, of stage more than film.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
but in film, I got a friend, Dwayne Whitaker, who says the thing he likes about film is the part between action and cut. You know, and I think most of us actors are, because that in that space of time, that's a world that we control 100%. You know,
Exactly.
It's
yeah.
funny. That's the time that I can't stand. I'm too frightened
Really?
because I can't memorize lines very well. So I'm
Yeah.
always worried about remembering my lines.
Oh wow, well, see, you could ad lib. You know?
Depending on the director, sure, but some of them you got to say absolutely everything exactly what they want.
Yeah. That's true. And like I said earlier, they have that right because it's their film. But yeah, you know, the more films that you do, or the more that you work, the easier that comes, that the lines are there, you know.
Okay.
And you get to a place where if you try to think about them, they disappear. But if you just react, they're there, you know. And what I love about film that you can't do on stage, if you go up on your line, say, I'm sorry, I went up. It's okay, let's go again. You know, you do it again and again until you get it right. You know,
especially these days with digital. I mean, that's you were in both ends where it was all film, and now it's becoming all digital. I'm sure that's got to really change your performance as well, because you don't have to worry about wasting film or wasting time. If it's digital, you can fix it.
Yeah, and there was, you know, back in the day, 100,000 feet for a film, and you know, you're blowing 1,000 on this scene. You're trying to get right. You know, you do kind of feel the pressure after a while. You know, people getting exasperated. Yeah.
Sure.
I have to ask you a question. So this has been kind of on my mind, but one of my favorite directors, you know, period, in the world is Edward D. Wood Jr.
Yay.
Did you ever cross paths with him at all? Like, I know you weren't in any of his movies, but have you ever crossed paths with him?
Only indirectly with Conrad Brooks and the stories that he told about it. Yeah.
Okay, so you never actually met him.
No, but he lived right down the street.
Wow.
Just off of Cahuenga here, and it's not a bar now, but a bar at Cahuenga in Franklin. There's a plumbing place now, but anyway, that's where you used to drink. You know. So,
yeah, we were there when I was out in LA. We stopped by there and just took a quick peek. Yeah,
that was last year when I moved. Paul came with me, and we actually, one of the things we wanted to do was check out all, you know, because we wanted to go exploring, you know, Hollywood Boulevard and all the other places, but we started exploring also Hollywood, period, and Ed Wood's places that he went to, and I thought that was really cool.
You guys are right in my neighborhood here. Wow. We might have some coffee with you.
Yeah, that'd have been awesome. That'd have been a dream come true there.
You could have drove past us and we didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Could have.
If you sensed a disturbance in the force last January, it would have been us, you know, coming on by.
Did feel a little kind of familiarity there.
There you go.
Independent film folks in the air. Yeah.
Moving on to my next question. So in addition to acting and in addition to doing your directing, you are also an author. You wrote a book called Wiping Off the Sheen that came out in 2012. And I was just wondering, what was that experience like?
It was insightful to you know, it was insightful for me to find out about myself, but it was just a series of there's a restaurant out here called the Sizzler, which I think is defunct now because of the COVID, but we just sat there with Chris Watson, who was a director himself.
Yeah, Zombiegeddon.
Zombiegeddon, yes. And just asked me questions, and I answered them honestly. And that is in essence the book. And there is a short story at the end of the book. And I wrote this short story when I was after I had this experience of shooting a commercial in China and in Hong Kong. And anyway, that's at the back of the book, and it's called Baby Makes Three. You know, I wrote some plays that are doing pretty good, I think, and I think they're going to be produced in Cincinnati. And I think it not, I think I have confidence that I have a talent as a writer, but I'm lazy. It is tough to sit alone. You think memorizing is tough. Writing for me, it's very tough, but it's very incredibly rewarding. And before I cast off this mortal coil, I'd like to leave some stuff behind, some writing behind that I haven't written that much, but what I have written, I'm proud of. So let me leave it like that. But yeah, so the book is just it's just my kind of thumbnail sketch of who I am, and it's very honest. It's very honest. I don't know if you gentlemen have read it, but I think you'll enjoy it. I
definitely want to get a copy of it. And as far as being lazy, sir, anyone who's been in 300 movies is not a lazy person.
I know.
God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. I had a fella, I did a thing up in Utah, and I met this Irish actor was up there, and we hit it right off, and I sent him a couple of plays that we could do up there, and he said, "Oh wow, we could do this. We could work on this. We rewrite this. We just." I said, "No. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do any of that. I want to busy myself with inconsequential things. I just want to have my mind at peace. I don't want to work when I'm not working." Does that make sense? I want to.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's totally makes sense.
I'm totally at that point in my life too. Believe me, I get it.
Yeah. And there's, I think we beat ourselves up that we have to be doing something or working at something. No, just work at being a human being, work at enjoying who you are. I am so much more than an actor or a husband or a father, and I want to get in touch with that, who I am, and celebrate that. Agar Toll, he said when he became realized, I don't know if you gentlemen are familiar with him, but he's kind of a mystic. I don't, but he said after he became realized, he did nothing but sit and enjoy just being. The Buddha. I mean, the Buddha became realized, and like the monks say, you still chop wood and carry water, but you realize this magnificent spiritual entity that we are, and I'd like to get more in touch with that, more in touch about who the heck I am.
Joe,
you guys.
The more you talk, the more I can see why you, Conrad Brooks, and Donald G. Jackson seem to really, really get along, because it seems to me everything that I've heard from them or read from them speaks to exactly this sort of thing.
And Scott Shaw too. Like I believe, like the whole what was it called? Paul, the filmmaking that they did was Zen,
the guerrilla style.
Yeah, Zen
filmmaking. Yes, yeah. And Scott Shaw, as a matter of fact, he writes the introduction to Wipe Me Off the Scene, and said some marvelous things about him and about me, and I didn't have to pay him very much at all. So, but I didn't pay him anything. That was a joke. Scott Shaw, yeah, he was kind of the motorcycle zen, I mean, it's just like, it was like our version of Kerouac,
Mhm.
It was just, we just go out there and expressing ourselves. You guys get it. That's great. We
Yeah.
love,
Absolutely.
there's a whole lot of people that don't, and that's okay too,
Mhm.
I don't know. Are you guys familiar with this series I did for Adult Swim called Decker?
I've heard
Heard
of
of
it.
it, but haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, it's marvelous. But a lot of people don't get it, but a lot of people do, and it's like, oh wow, this is great. Anyway, I'm digressing, brother.
Well, that's
Yeah.
okay. To sort of bring things back towards the films that we really, really love to talk about for the show, especially Roller Gator, there are a couple of actors that I know you've worked with in some of these productions that I was wondering you might be able to give us some idea about what happened to them. You may not know anything, but first one I definitely want to ask about is Sandra Sherker, who was who played the lead opposite you in Roller Gator. I know she was some kind of a skater from Canada, and she played in that thing, but she kind of vanished. And like a lot of people, we just completely fell in love with her. We're like, whatever happened to her?
Yeah. And I wish I could fill you in. I can make something up if you like. But after we wrapped, I don't think I've ever seen her again. At least that I know of. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm at a loss there too. So maybe that.
What was she like?
She was also very free spirited, which I think that was almost a prerequisite of all the gals that work with Don. They were fun loving, free spirited, and whatever, and they were up for anything. I mean, not but they were up for wherever Don had in mind. And Don, he was very respectful of the ladies. He wasn't one of these gropers or I'll cast you if you did. No, that wasn't who Don was. Don had a good spirit. And again, and I keep going back with this, and we talked about it, but Don, the master of light, he tried to put that on the screen, and these things from outer space and all that, these were goblins in his life and my life and everybody's life that they were monsters there, but up here, they're real in their minds, And,
There you go.
Yeah. And so he tried to give them life, give them a presence on the screen, Yeah. And then slay them so that we are able to slay them ourselves. Yeah.
What was it like working with Connie Brooks?
He was just he was just a joy. He was such a and I mean this in a profound sense. He was such an innocent. He did not have a vicious bone in his body. He was just a good human being. That baby ghost that we did. He was originally cast in my role.
Oh,
And,
wow.
Yeah. And he told Don, he said, look, Joe Estevez will give you a better job than I can on this, And that's when, Don said, are you sure it's your role? No, it's Connor said, no, Joe, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to, James Sheen, I'm trying to think of the movie with Dana Plato and Connie Brooks that I did. Who he was, I can't think of the movie now. It's on the IMDb someplace, but, you know, I was always honored to know Conrad, and I think I did one of his films, you know. I
There you
think,
go.
He did
yeah,
some really fun ones, you know, like
yeah,
and it seemed sort of like, I mean, and maybe you can attest to this or not, but it did seem like Conrad Brooks's films were more like Donald G. Jackson's, where there wasn't much of a script. You kind of just winged everything, but you had fun.
yeah, yeah, exactly,
Mhm.
exactly, yeah.
And it seems like you guys definitely had fun, because there are some things that I know, if you go on to Scott Shaw's website, if you go on YouTube, where it's sort of like background footage that somebody has taken, where it's you guys all kind of goofing off or in between sets or in between stuff, and you're all just kind of joking around together and having fun. And I
Yeah.
just absolutely love seeing that kind of footage.
Uh,
It's just wonderful.
yeah, yeah.
Love to be a fly on the wall.
Well, you know, there's a movie out there that was shown here in the Egyptian. I don't know if you guys saw that theater when
Mm.
you were here in Hollywood.
Oh, wait, did we? I think
About
we might have.
I think we went by it. Yeah.
yeah, but they did. There's a film, a documentary about Donald G. Jackson in his life and such.
Ooh.
And when they screened it, I was away working, but my wife saw it. She loved it. She fell in love with Don Jackson all over again, you know.
Oh.
But it was Don Jackson, the man, you know, and how he, you know, it was funny. And you know, I'm sure he's okay with this. He had a guy who would find investors for him, you know,
Okay.
and every movie that we did, this guy had a different name, you know.
That's funny.
No, Joe, no, you're mistaking me. No, I don't know. No, my name is. I said, finally, the third movie I caught on. You know, okay, man, I got you. You know, but you know, raising money is, you know, that's the really the backbone. But that Donald was able to do it and still do what he wanted to do was a testament to it, you know.
Well, do you have any advice on that? Because, you know, we're like producers, we're trying to do our own stuff and everything.
Yeah.
And that is always the hardest part of our
Very
stuff right now, is
difficult.
just finding investors. And we would love to know, like, what is your, you know, do you have any advice on it yourself, or what do you think?
Oh boy, that's first of all, if you know of an investor, first thing you want to do is offer to invest. I don't think, you know, nowadays you can make a good movie with $50,000. You can make a good movie, knowing your strengths with $50,000. So $50,000, it's a lot of money, but it's much more apt that an investor will come up with 50 than say 500,000 or a couple million, or, you know. But I've read so many great scripts, and you know, they've just gone nowhere because they couldn't find an investor. An investor, they can't find a legitimate distributor for them, you know. So often it ends up down in the pen at the, you know, the VSD or the, you know, where they wholesale movies and they practically give them away, you know. So it's tough. But now there's so much you can do with an iPhone, and with a good editor. I would, you know, I would try to do a movie as much as you can without an investor. And when you get a little bit of money, or you get your cash, or you get some actors that'll work for lunch or work for, you know, that in that case, you know, shoot a little bit this weekend, shoot a little bit next weekend, and just and just keep it going. I'm working with a guy now, Dwayne Whitaker, he's got a great script called 30 Weight, and we're doing that every time. He gets some money or whatever, his unemployment check comes in, and he'll shoot a little bit more, and he's a friend, so I'll shoot it with him. But I think if you start it, it finds its own way. So I think starting it and not taking no for an answer, and if you got something to say in that film, it's got its own energy. So
Okay.
I know that's pretty thin advice, but that's the best that I can give.
Well, it looks like Jonathan got kicked out, but he's trying to work his way back in.
Oh, Jonathan, and probably something like that.
While I got you on here, I do have another question, and this goes back to acting itself. Is there a role that you have not done that you would love to do, that you just haven't had the opportunity to, either for one reason or another, some kind of role or a specific role that you'd love to play?
No, I no, there's really there's not. I get offered Susan De Laurentiis. I just did this short for her, Really Scary Things, this series that she's doing, and the role that she offered me, I didn't know that kind of scary guy existed. And I just fell into it, just loved it. And now Susan De Laurentiis and I are great friends, and I'm going to be working with her, I think, quite a bit in the future.
That's great.
Yeah, but there's really not. There's really not. Every role has its own uniqueness that that I can bring a personal part of myself to. But I don't. I think I'd rather now play good guys. I'd rather stay away from horror. But then there's good horror,
Sure.
and that's not gonna. But I think sometimes actors and people in general, we do things that is bad for our spirit. And we say, well, I'm an actor, I'm just, but well, no, still you're responsible for yourself, and you're responsible for what you do. And am I a hypocrite in that in saying I try to stay away from horror and still do it? Yes, but I do. I'm trying to do feel good films that are based in love and in peace and in giving. I'm open the door in myself for that, and films are coming to me because of that. There's a film that I could call Doonby, Doonby, that I'm very proud of. And there's some so there's some other films whose titles escape me that I've done in the last 4 or 5 years that I'm proud of, because they talk about I don't want to say redemption of the human spirit, but the fulfilling of the human spirit. And again, kind of going back to what I was saying before, what we're here at the first place for. And as always, back. Is he back?
I think he's trying.
Okay. I'm trying. It's not letting me
go.
Well, you can probably hear me, but you can't see me. Hold on.
How's everybody?
Yeah, we can hear you. One thing I noticed, there was something called Cult Legends that you were, I guess you were interviewed on. And one of the things you mentioned is that you thought young actors should beware of rip-off acting schools, and that talent was something that you either had or you didn't, that it really wasn't something that could be taught to you. Can you expound on that a little bit, maybe?
Yeah, I think that the best way to become a better actor is to act. There's a whole industry here in Hollywood ripping off actors in acting school. And, actors, most of us are so self-conscious that if we're told, we'll do a scene that is for all intent and purpose brilliant, and they'll tear it apart and tear your ego apart along with it, and you become almost their captive. They're going to teach you how to act. Nobody can teach you how to act. You already have that within you. There, who said it? Cagney, I think, said, advice to actors: plant your feet, look them in the eye, tell the truth. That's it. You plant your feet. That's bouncing yourself. You bounce. Look them in the eye. Speak from the heart. Tell the truth. That's it. You learn basic things as an actor, and as I'm talking to you. I'm not going to turn my back on you. I'm doing a scene. I'm not going to turn my back on the camera. These are natural things. You have to learn a little stage combat, how to fence and take a pratfall and things like. Yeah, these are that's choreographed.
Right.
And but that's no, acting is very, very personal. Diction, is important, but sometimes mumbling is equally important. I loved Michael Parks when first film I ever did. I don't know if you guys remember Michael Parks. I idolized this guy. First film I ever did, I was working with him. Oh my God, I couldn't understand a word he said, but he was terrific. It's such a, and especially in film, that the camera literally reads your mind. If you think it, the camera sees you thinking it. You don't have to push it. You don't have to overact. It's already there. So,
very interesting.
Yeah, just subtle. Just be subtle. You ever watch Raymond Burr?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The old Perry Mason. He
Sure.
is the most subtle actor I've ever seen work, and he's marvelous. Just poetry to watch this guy work. He's got you from the moment. Subtle, just very subtle.
And I love the idea that you said that this is something that's just innate, that it's just part of you, and that it's not something that really can be taught to you, and that there are people out there who are trying to sort of, make money off of that, convincing you that they need to do that. It's just, I've always thought the same thing about leadership. I always thought you either are a leader or you're not. And there isn't really anybody out there who can tell you how to become a leader or teach you, or not something that you should be paying somebody for, that you either have it or you don't. And if you do want to become a leader, you've got to work on that yourself to find it within you to bring that out. Yeah.
Yeah. I think with that, I think you can learn courage. My acting brother, Ramon Martin, is got an incredible amount of courage, and I learned courage from him to speak up and to speak out and to speak truth to power. Do I get intimidated? Of course I do. But I try to speak the truth in spite of that. And I think you can learn. But yeah, and a lot of, if I'm talking too much, please stop me.
No, not at all.
Yeah, there was a experiment that these guys did with baboons. Baboons, the baboon with the biggest, bluest ass is the leader of the baboon tribe. Okay,
there you go.
He's the biggest. Okay, he's the numero uno. So they took a run-of-the-mill baboon with an average blue ass out of the pack and painted his ass bright blue, just incredibly blue, and they put him back in with the tribe. He immediately became head of the tribe. He was,
wow.
He was the main baboon, and everybody followed this baboon. And after a certain amount of time, the paint faded, and he kind of just went back into they're just being a regular baboon, So I learned a lot from that.
Kind of like Flowers for Algernon, only with baboons.
Yeah. It's, when you're called upon to be a leader, lead. And if you're not called upon and you don't feel the wherewithal to step out in front, do it. I look at these guys from the 60s and the freedom marches, Dr. Martin Luther King. Oh man, what incredible courage. What incredible courage. Oh my God, man. That's courage. I admire that. I admire that. And for the few times that I've spoken up or stepped up, nothing in comparison to what these guys did, But I tell you, on a set or something, if I'm playing the lead or if I'm on the set or if I'm it's my position to speak up if there's if actors are being mistreated or something's going on that is just wrong. It's my job to speak up because maybe they'll listen to me where they won't listen to the day player or something,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I need. Oh, there you are. All right, and it's a different view of you. Okay, yeah.
Oh, wait, you didn't. Oh, okay. I've been listening for a while, so I don't know if you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm on my phone right now because my computer just glitched, and
okay.
it has already converted what we've done on it. So I'm hoping Paul is
I've
getting
been recording.
got the rest of it. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you've been
I may have missed about 30 seconds there, but otherwise I've been recording it.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Excellent.
yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
Well, I think we're almost out of time for
Well, we've solved almost every problem in the world anyway.
I've got about 30 more I'd love to talk about.
I know. We'll definitely have to get you back on for like another show.
If that's okay with you, we would love that.
Sure. At peace to you guys. Listen, this is an important thing that you're doing, and
thank you.
You're out there. I mean, you guys you got great spirit behind you. Yes, yes. You're good people, and keep on doing good things.
Oh, thank you. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, coming from you, that's an amazing thing. Thank you.
Just the truth. Just the truth.
Can we quote you on that?
Please do. Please do.
Outstanding.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, no, we really appreciate it, and thank you for taking your time out of your, I'm sure, busy day, especially on a Monday. We really appreciate this, and we just want to let everybody know. We were planning last year, I guess, to have you come over to my house when I was living in Van Nuys, but unfortunately, things. The COVID.
COVID's changed everything.
Oh, is that? I think it's. Did we actually schedule a time and then I wasn't able to make it, and then they got.
That was it. So there was a time you just couldn't make it. And you felt so bad, and then we were just like, oh,
well,
that's okay.
I'm glad that we got to make it happen. Then terrific.
Yeah, we did, and that's what's important.
Yeah. And you got to forgive me. You're Paul. No, you're Jonathan.
I'm Jonathan. Yes.
And
I'm Paul.
The other Paul. Okay. All right.
Otherwise known as the Moo Cow.
When the police ask me, I just want to be able to identify you with the photo lineup,
Everybody knows me as the weird cow guy, so that's how they know.
I like that. Yeah, the real cow guy. I don't even want to go there, cow guy. Okay.
It's a long story, trust me.
Maybe next time.
There you go.
Definitely.
We'll go down that street, Yeah.
Oh, once again, thank you so much. Is there any projects that you're up to lately that you like to plug?
There is, I'm doing this movie, Lying Together, that is up in Colorado. I'm doing this other movie called Fudged Up. Great script that I'm doing in April in Boise, Idaho. It's funny. It's like there's a lot of work is happening out there. Like I said earlier, Susan De Laurentiis, I'm part of her company now, I guess. But it seems like I'm going to be working as much as I want to. But Fudged Up is I'm working this weekend, but it's just for nothing that's ever going to be seen nationally or anything, But I'm doing voiceovers and so I keep as busy as I want for a lazy guy, Yeah.
Once
Yeah.
again, not lazy. Paul was right.
Right.
You've done
Yeah.
over 300 films. You're not lazy.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah.
And, I've always said, Joe was a lunch pail, blue collar kind of guy. There wasn't a movie that he couldn't make better just by being in it.
I love you guys. Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's you guys talking like that. It keeps me going on. You know what I mean? It keeps
Right.
me.
Outstanding.
Do me a favor. If you can get on, check out Decker. All right, with
Definitely.
Tim Heidecker and Greg.
Okay.
But the humor is. You might become a fan. You might hate it, but check it out because it's fun stuff.
We will, and the next time we talk, we'll talk about Dexter.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Is that it? Do I hit a button? What do I do here?
I think it's just our part to say so long. Thank you all very much for joining in. Thank you, Joe Estevez, for taking the time out to talk with us. Hopefully we'll get to do it again. And Jonathan, I'm going to let the last words go to you.
Yeah. I just want. I guess. Joe, you still with us?
I am.
Okay.
Right down here.
You're doing it where I can't see you at all. So I don't have the gallery view.
Yeah, I
on.
see your hand. I see your hand. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So yeah. Thank you so much once again. We really appreciate it. I see. I'm not sure. Paul, are you doing this on the phone or are you doing it through the computer?
On my laptop, but it's recording to the cloud. So
are you going to be able to get it from the cloud, I guess?
Hopefully. It should.
Okay. All right. So it's recording to cloud and still recording, right? Like
still recording.
It's telling me it's recording to my cloud. I don't know. But like my parts that I came in. So I'm like, all right, whatever.
Listen, if you guys lose this, I will repeat everything I said exactly word for word, okay?
I'm sure you can.
I really hope we don't have to do that.
Don't worry about it.
We should be good. We should be good.
I really, really enjoyed what you did and what you said, period, like this stuff. So I don't think so. We've already it's already converted what I've done, so he'll get what he has. He'll send that to me and then I'll edit it all together.
Okay.
And we'll let you know when it comes out so you can check it out.
Well, it will be out on Friday. So
yeah,
get ready for that. It'll be the first Friday of the month. So,
and if you get a chance, Joe, we would absolutely love it if you could maybe take a moment and check out Indie Film Cafe, listen to one of our podcasts, listen to the Roller Gator Show or another one maybe at some point. That would be awesome.
Baby Ghost. Oh, dude, Baby Ghost.
Baby Ghost.
God. Absolutely.
That film with Lila. Lila absolutely loved that film. So.
Oh my God. Okay.
They were singing the song. They were singing the Baby Ghost song the whole time.
I think this is why my wife decided to marry me because of Don Jackson.
Oh,
I wanted to marry Don Jackson, but he was.
Hey, there could be worse reasons why.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, Joe. Well, thanks again, and hopefully we'll get to do this again. And take care, please.
Definitely. God bless you too.
Be safe. Be safe.
You too. All righty. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm leaving now.